This is the joyous 5 minutes where I just speak as people join in. Look at me, got my summer top on. Yeah, Nymphs and Fugs are here. This is a joyous 5 minutes where I talk for a bit. We wait for people to join before I invite my guests later on. Oh yeah, some people are joining. Hi people. Okay. Joe, I'm not going to let you in yet. I get to talk for a bit while people are joining in. So the lucky people, oh yeah, you're so lucky, who have joined in on this glorious, sunny, it's June now, isn't it? Not May anymore. Who've joined in on this glorious feed get to listen to me going on. And I thought I'd read a really depressing poem. Yeah, woo, for depressing poems. It's in my book Bird Street, and Matt from Nymphs and Fugs took this poem for like a magazine he ran at one point. I don't really know if he still runs it. This is a poem called Kitchen Sink. For all those who don't really care about the sun, I'm not that happy about it. This is called Kitchen Sink. It's one of those days when you boil a kettle to wash the dishes, and as you pour, you smash the kettle into the underside of your arm, just to wake up to the world and make something happen. One of those days when it's shit jazz on Radio 6. This is not why I tune in. One of those days when you think about the logistics of how people put electrical devices in the bath. Do people with chaotic lives have extendable power cables? This is not why I tune in. Time for a rethink. You don't want to write poetry anymore. You want to write music. You want Oblivion. You want 9 Lives. You want Debbie Harry's Her. You want to be in Thailand like you were when you were 24. One of those days when word is not responding. The words are not creating a response. The words in your brain are not making sense in the brain fog. Probably gluten or something. The cat won't fucking shut up. And then this song comes over the radio and the head starts tapping all on its own. Thanks, body. Pleased to meet you. This explains why it's so easy to hide in sex. Pleased to meet you. Don't forget my name. One of those days when kitchen dancing happens. My own festival going on in this square meter. Watch if you want to, neighbour. You're dancing small amidst the stink of old milk, dried on chocolate Weetabix on all 9 bowls that you own, and some bowls that are not for cereal but still fit cereal inside. For example, the gravy boat. Only a couple of brandy glasses left. Clean brandy glass. Not on a Wednesday afternoon. Not on a Wednesday afternoon when you're sober and sad and older. It'll be the school run soon. Best wash the fucking dishes. Thank you. Okay, excellent. That's enough of me going on. Hi, I'm Louise Fazackley. I'm a poet on Nymphs and Fugs label, and tonight I am taking over from Matt Abbott, and I'm going to introduce my poet. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. Joe Williams is an absolutely awesome poet who every time I go to an open mic or an event and he's on the bill, I'm always so happy that he's there. He's got a book called Taking Part, which is his 4th book. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. It's his 4th book. Come on, lad's doing well. With Maytree Press, and he's going to tell us a little bit about it. So let me find him. There he is. Joe Williams, Leeds. He wants to be in the video. He can be. I'm going to say go on. He will join us. While we're waiting, I've had a new tattoo. Look, it's an alien. Got Blackpool Tower going on. Yeah, that's exciting, isn't it? But yeah. Oh, he's here.
I'm there. Hello. Okay.
Hi, Joe.
All right.
How you feeling?
Still hot.
Still hot?
But
Smoking. What have you been up to that's been getting you hot and sweaty, Joe?
Well, I went out for a long walk this afternoon and met a poet friend of mine for a little walk about and a chat. And I'm here sat in my flat where it's like all windows across there in front of me, and the sun's just been coming in all day while I've been out making the place into a volcano. So I walked back in, and it was like the poker.
So is it like Satan's lair, really?
I mean, I won't take that as an insult, but yes, something like that.
No, I think people quite like Satan. My daughter's just bought a T-shirt that says "Let's come and summon demons." So I think it's very popular with the younger generation. So Joe, you've been out on your little walk today with your poet friend. Have you missed performing live?
Yes, very much. Not just performing live, but being with other people in the room, watching other people performing live. I've done a lot of Zoom things, as many of us has. It's been a bit of a lifesaver. But yeah, I can't wait to get back to being able to, hang out with poets in pubs and stuff like that.
And for you, like, what is your favourite bit? Do you prefer the writing of the work, or do you prefer the performing of the work, or where do you kind of go on that continuum?
It was the performing that kind of made me get sucked into it and really enjoy what I was doing. I'm not sure I'd say that I particularly enjoy the performing more than the writing, but it was definitely the impetus for me to start writing seriously. Particularly with poetry, when I discovered the poetry scene, which I didn't really know existed until I kind of stumbled across it by accident a few years ago. So it's for me, both things are really important. I like to what I like in other people is I like people who are really good, who can, write really good, strong stuff that works on the page and are also good performers and can bring it across, whether they're reading from a book or doing a more active performance. Someone like you, for example, I love the combination of the way you do things, and that's what I kind of strive for myself as well. I like to be as the best I can in both of those things.
Well, I find you quite charismatic when you're on stage, and I often find you quite dark and funny. So I just love your work. So you talked about discovering the scene. Are you mostly out and about in the northwest? So not the northwest. I'm in the northwest. Are you out and about mostly in Yorkshire?
Yeah, mainly. I live in Leeds, so it's when we were allowed to, and when we will be again. Yeah, that's my focus really. There's so much stuff going on just in Leeds itself that I could easily go to 2 events every week at least.
That's exciting. Do you have a favourite venue?
Favourite venue? Well, the open mic that used to be my regular haunt that I went to every month, still do while it's online, is at a place called the Chemic Tavern in Leeds. I can't remember if you've been there or not. It's an event called Word Club.
I think I've been booked for it, and I can't remember if I went or not. I can't remember. I remember having it in my diary, and I just can't remember if I ended up going. Because
I remember now. You were booked, and you were cancelled because you were one of the early pandemic ones. So you did it online in the end, didn't you? That's right. Yeah, I can't wait to get back to the Chemic and all the other things as well. There's so much stuff around Yorkshire as well as in Leeds, and bring it back, please.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of in a minute I'll ask you to do a poem, but that's just reminded me. I feel like there's quite a debate online and stuff recently about people starting to do more live events, but actually forgetting about how the Zoom events have opened things up for many people. Like people who maybe have access needs or, childcare or confidence issues or whatever. What's your thoughts on that, Joe?
I think it remains to be seen how things will happen. There's a lot of people very keen on continuing things online and doing hybrid event and things like that. And obviously, as you say, for some people that's a marvellous thing. I wonder if maybe for most people the appetite will soon dwindle once we're able to get to live events. For me, while Zoom's been a great thing, while we've not been able to do anything else, at the same time, I can't really wait to get away from it and stare at a screen all day in that and the rest of my life. But we'll see how things work. If people can make things happen in in a way that kind of works for everyone and doesn't detract from the live spectacle as well as anything else.
I think it's hilarious when you perform into a Zoom audience and like some people like are chatting to the partner and picking the nose, you know, and whatever, you know, just like fidgeting more than they would in a live audience. And you're a bit like, I always think I'm not going to be offended by that. Have you witnessed anything horrific in any of your Zooms, or has it been quite sad?
I have been at a couple of things that got the Zoom bombing, the the full on invasion, but
Was it nudity?
I can't. Oh, there was all sorts of things going on. There was more, let's say, more than nudity. I think from one particular enthusiastic gentleman on one occasion. Maybe we shouldn't.
I've not been Zoom bombed. I've just heard about it.
It's people are a bit wiser to it now. I think it was in the earlier days when people weren't managing their waiting rooms quite so well, perhaps.
It's when people had nothing better to do, even though, as well, you know, like at the beginning of lockdown, when people were like, you know, like dodgy Zoom bombers, like, yeah, let's do this. Okay, let's stop talking for a little bit. Would you like to read a poem from your new book?
I will. Thank you. Yes. I'll wave the book at you first because it's beautiful. I don't know how well you can see that on a small screen, but it's a really gorgeous cover. Yeah, it's called The Taking Part, published by Maytree Press, and it's a short collection of poems on the theme of sports and games, which I've been kind of writing off and on for several years. And it's not really about sport and games at all, for the most part, because that's what poems do, isn't it? They just use a theme as an excuse to do whatever the hell they want. So I'll give you. This is one of the oldest poems that I've got in the book, which people might have seen me doing live a few times because I've been doing this one for quite a while. But I think it gives you a good flavour of what the book's all about. This is a poem called Royal Visit to Headingley Stadium. So what do you do? Said the prince to the groundsman, who thought, what a bloody stupid question, given I'm sat on a lawnmower which you've just watched me drive from one side of the field to the other, but said, I'm the resident artist here, and I'm making a picture there on the grass that might not seem like anything much, but when it's done, it should look grand, though. Not from here, you see, it's made in a way that means it can only be seen from space. And the prince said, it's great to have art in sports. How very nice to meet you, but thought, what a waste of time and money. And the groundsman thought the same. Thank you very much.
Everyone at home, you can clap too. Just whoop, pretend you're in your own rooms, and you can do what you want. Ooh, awesome, yeah, I like that one. Ooh, I love a bit of a dig at the royalty. I mean, I'm not saying, burn them in their castles, but, not far off. Nice, Joe, I love that. So you said that, so basically the book's loosely held together by the idea of competition in sports, but it takes us to other places.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of started off when I had a couple of sport-related poems, and I got an initial idea to think, maybe eventually I could kind of do some kind of themed book around this. And over a couple of years, I kind of occasionally would do another poem that seemed to fit the bill. And yeah, it started very, very much a sports thing, but then it expanded into other related things. So there's stuff about TV quiz shows. There's one about Scrabble, which I might do later. There's
Scrabble.
Yeah, well, poets and Scrabble go together. I think it's obvious in it, the words thing. So that's a good one. A good one for the poets, I think. So yeah, I'll try to keep it quite broad, not just in the kind of initial themes of things, but also in the topics that it then goes on to talk about. So as an example, you got something a little bit political in there from what might first not seem at all political, the initial kind of concept of it, if you see what I mean.
As you were pulling the collection together then, did it happen to be that you noticed you had a few trending and then you made a conscious decision to write more that would fit? How did the process of realising it was a collection come about? Because I think some people struggle with that, because I think it's good that there's older work in it as well as newer work.
Yeah, it was... it's very different. I mean, all of the books that I've done are very different, and the way that this came together is different to the others because it was back in 2016, I think, when I had that initial idea, and I had those just 2 or 3 poems that give me the idea, and I didn't think about it really very much for a while putting out another 2 books in the meantime. But yeah, I'd kind of gradually do it, and then end of 2019 it was. I thought, kind of looking over some stuff, I thought I've probably got about half a decent pamphlet here, so I started focusing on filling in the gaps really. So I kind of tried to write about some things that I hadn't written about yet, and cover some other avenues, and eventually kind of came together over the course of the following year or so, slightly derailed by the pandemic when I was when I just lost all inspiration for a while at the beginning, but we got there, and yeah, it became a reality. Got accepted by Maytree for publication last October, I think it was, which was very pleasing, and here it is.
What's it been like working with Maytree? Because I absolutely love the cover of your book. How much input did you get to have in the cover and other stuff?
It's been really excellent. I'd been in an anthology that they did before called Greenfields, which was all about, it was themed around music festivals. So I had a couple of poems in there, and that's a beautiful book. And I had a couple of their other earlier publications as well, and again, I was really impressed by what they were doing. I knew that David Caldwell, who's the boss there, as usual with these things, it's a very tiny operation, so it's pretty much him doing it all himself. But he's an artist himself as well as a poet, and knew he had a keen eye for design and artwork and all that kind of stuff. So that was one of the reasons why I was interested in working with him, because I knew that he'd produce something good. For the cover, for that reason, I didn't even talk to him about it. I just let him go on with it. And he emailed me just a few weeks before the book came out with the cover image, and I loved it. It was if he had asked me for any input, I would have said maybe something kind of Lowry-esque and nostalgic, and well, that's exactly what that is. So great minds and all that. It's by an artist. Sorry, go on.
Is it his artwork, or is who's the artwork?
No, it's by an artist called Walker Scott, who I think is based somewhere around your way in the northwest. I can't remember exactly where. Who does a lot of stuff kind of in that vein. So it's it looks a bit early 20th century with the Lowry connection, but it's quite a recent piece actually. It's contemporary work. So yeah, it's I'm not sure where David found that. I'm not sure if he already knew this guy or if he just found the image somewhere, but he sourced that, and it's the perfect fit.
I think it's a really playful image, and that's so important for so many people picking up books. Obviously the content's important, and if you get the opportunity to hear the poems, and that sells your book for you. But for some people it's very much like, if they've not met you and they've not heard you perform and the book's just there, just a beautiful object, people will pick up and then start to flick, and then you get sales from it. If people want to buy the book from you, where can they get it from?
You can get it direct from me through my website, joewilliams.co.uk. You can get it from Maytree Press as well, but if you get it from me, then you can have a signed one. So it depends whether you want me to scribble on it or not, really. They're £8 including postage, assuming you're in the UK. So yeah, look that up, again, website wrong, joewilliams.co.uk, and give me a shout, or you can find me on all the social stuff as well.
Cool. Will you do us another poem?
I will do you another poem. I've picked one just for you, actually, Louise, because I know you do a bit of boxing, don't you? So you will know. I'm sure you are very familiar with Nicola Adams, one of our.
Yes, I am familiar.
You were breaking up there, didn't you? You said.
I've just said I am familiar with her. Yeah, she's an awesome boxer. She's quite a cool person.
Yeah, and she's from here in Leeds, of course. For anyone who doesn't know, she was the first woman to ever win an Olympic gold medal in boxing, which was in the 2012 London Olympics. And you remember that they did gold post boxes for everyone, all the British people who won a gold medal. So do you not remember this? The post office had this idea that they'd they paint a post box gold for everyone who won one. Of course, there was loads of British people won gold medals in that Olympics. So Nicola Adams has a gold post box in Leeds, which when I'm in town, I quite often go past that. So I wanted to write a poem for Nicola Adams. So this is the one that's dedicated to her. It's called "It Started with a Kiss." Your fist, her chin, in the ring that never before let the likes of you in. Did you think about that as you laid those blows, about those who knocked you down for 116 years? They marked your gold at the art gallery. Outside, not in. There are some fights you are yet to win. Thanks.
Oh, I had like goosebumples then when you was reading that, Joe. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, just like all the stuff to do with Black Lives Matters has been really obviously has raised into public consciousness for people who weren't already kind of really aware about institutional racism. So it's just good to hear about Nicola Adams and how, like her journey through boxing. And, it's a great poem. I love that.
Through boxing and everything else she's had to face in life as well. It's an inspirational story, hers, I think. So that was one of the reasons why I write about her.
You're making me want to read up about her a little bit now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember her existing. I remember her watching her fight and stuff, but I don't know much about her as a person. So.
Oh, well, yeah. Look her up on Wikipedia, and you'll find out more, I'm sure.
Okay, cool. I mean, you were shortlisted for a Saboteur Award for one of your previous collections, weren't you? Tell us a little bit about that.
That was for a book. I was losing you there. I don't know if it's you or me. Can you hear me? I think I might have lost my cue, lost yours. Technical hitches. I don't know what to do now. I think you're back. Are you back?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Joe. Yeah, I couldn't work out if it was you who'd frozen or me. I'm back.
I missed your question.
Okay, my question was around your Saboteur. You got nominated for a Saboteur Award for your previous collection, and I just wanted to know a little bit more about that because it sounded really interesting.
Yeah, that was for a book called An Otley Run. I can wave that one at you as well. There we go. So people might
wave it a bit more. I've never even seen it then. Just a little flash.
I'm too excited about the new one to think about the old one. It's people might know that there's a famous pub crawl called the Otley Run in Leeds, which runs very close to my house, and people always do it in fancy dress for the most part. I think it'll be one of the signs of lockdown, definitely emerging from the pandemic, will be when I see Otley runs again. So yeah, I wanted to write something about the Otley Run and these people, and it turned into what I called a verse novella. So it tells the story of two groups of people who are doing the Otley Run and how they spend their day. And it was nominated for the best novella category. It's a bit sneaky, you see. Calling it a verse novella means you can fit into that category. You don't have to compete with the other poets.
No, but it's your art, isn't it? You know what your art is. I mean, I know you know we all. When I was writing my last collection, I thought I was writing a novel, and the people who kept going, "It's poetry." This, I'm like, "It's not. It's prose." No, it's poetry. In the end, I just give up. I was like, "All right, it's poetry. I'll just put it in my collection." Then easy. Don't have to finish it then, do I?
Put it in the book and see what other people think about it. I think that's the way to do it. It's I can see what you mean about your collection, having read it as well. But it hangs together nicely.
Oh, thank you. What reactions have you had to the new book so far? You just recently had your book launch, didn't you?
Yeah, just a few days ago on Saturday. The reaction so far has been really excellent. Had a couple of very good early reviews from people, and sold quite a few already. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way it's gone. Inevitably, this always seems to happen. there's a couple of the poems that I wasn't so sure about, which have turned out to be the ones that people keep mentioning.
That's
So
annoying. I hate it when people do that. You're like, that rubbish one that I just put in. Oh. So what sorts of things are you saying? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, can you remember any good? It's hard to talk about your work like that, isn't it? But I always think if someone says something like about my work that I really like, I'm like, oh.
Well, I think people are really picking up on the things that I wanted to do with it. That kind of broad base of subject matter that I talked about, and people who already know my work will know that I like to kind of mix up the comic and the absurd with the more deep and emotional and everything else in between. And again, people have been picking up on that, so that's all very pleasing. And I hope it all continues and that people keep liking it. Not many people have read it yet, so be more praise to come, hopefully.
Yeah, get a book and then do a nice review on Twitter. Would you do us another poem, please?
I'll do it. What sort of poem do you want? Give me a...
I don't mind. I'm enjoying I've enjoyed the first two loads. Like, you pick.
I mentioned the Scrabble one. I'll do the Scrabble one for you. This one, this is a true story. This one, like all of my work, it's not. I don't do true stories, but this one really is. It's called Red Square. 60 odd points behind, faced with a row of unbroken vowels, I opted to exchange my tiles, an act of desperation. But later I played punily, the Y converting or to your triple word score, 43 points, destroying most of the deficit. I followed that with topaz for another 32, setting up a comeback worthy of Dennis Taylor. The memory might not stick if not for my final turn, sealing my victory with anus, sat down on another red square. After the reckoning, I won by 2, knowing I could have played onus or ants or unto, but what would have been the point of that? Thanks. There you go, one for the Scrabble fan. Thank you.
That is one of the joys of playing Scrabble, isn't it? When you just put out like bong or some kind of like just quite childlike word. I'm in my bedroom at the moment. I don't normally do it from here, but we've got people coming and going downstairs, and I've just noticed my crossword game.
I remember playing that years ago. I can't. A long. Do other than wait. No, I don't know. I've no idea if anyone can see me or not. I don't know what's happening. This is all very tense. Oh, you're back? I still don't know.
Hey, you're back. I'm sorry. I don't know what's up with my internet. It doesn't always do this. So, was you talking about crossword?
I was saying I used to have it when I was a kid, but I can't remember what it's like. Is it basically just a Scrabble rip-off?
Yeah, it's like a Scrabble rip-off, but it's like speed Scrabble. So you do it to a timer and you take it in turns. I'm loving it so much better than normal Scrabble. Like it's like, and it came out in 1978, which you may not believe it was the year I was born. So I kind of like that about it too. So just thought I'd share that. Well, I just saw it when you were doing the Scrabble poem. And so I feel like we're coming towards the end of our time together, but I've no watch on because I'm useless. What time is it at your end, Joe?
Oh, I've no idea. I've not got a clock in front of me.
You're as bad as me. We'll not worry about it then, will we? I think that it's probably
It's
time for
exactly,
one last.
my phone says it's exactly 8 o'clock. So
Well, I
yeah, I'll give you
right.
one last.
One last poem. One last poem.
I'll give you the last poem in the book. This is the closer. It's quite a short one, and this one genuinely is another true story. Actually, it's called. Well, I'll say first. There's a pair of poems in the book. One of which is called "The Best Match I Ever Saw," and one of which is called "The Worst Match I Ever Saw." So I'm not going to do the best match I ever saw. You have to buy the book if you want that one. But I will give you the worst match I ever saw. Notts County v Rochdale, Meadow Lane, 96. Fog draped like a theatre curtain over the halfway line. Behind our goal with pie and peas, we watched the action fade away, hoofed into the unknown, dribbled into the mist. There we are. Thank you.
Oh, right. Well, I'll tell you what, Joe. You've not scored an own goal with that collection. Sorry.
Ah, very good.
I just come up with that off the top of my head. I didn't prepare that. Sorry about that. No, it's really, 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 really good to hear the new work. I really enjoyed the poems, and I'll look forward to seeing you somewhere. Have you got any gigs coming up where people could see you?
I'm doing Runcible Spoon online on the 13th. That's my next one, and then hopefully some live ones coming up. There's a new event called the Leeds Poetry Festival, which is happening in July. I think Matt might be involved in it. I'm not sure. You've gone all frozen again, but I'm going to keep talking. So yeah, I've got a gig at that, which is an outdoors one, and I've got that are running in. Open is going to return 6th of June, which is cutting it fine because that's the first week of suppose in the next level of changes. So we'll see if that happens. Oh, you're back again. I don't know if you heard any of that. But, yeah, hopefully later in the year we'll have more real life stuff. Good. I hope so. Yeah, if anyone wants to look at my website again, joewilliams.co.uk, then there's the gigs page on there that's got a list of all the upcoming dates. So yeah, hopefully I will be coming to a car park or a back room of a pub or a theatre somewhere near you soon.
Yeah, well, next time we've got something on in Wigan that's suitable, I'll invite you over, Joe. Okay, so thank you so much for taking part. Thank you to everyone who has watched, and loads of people watch it on catch up, so I'm sure people will see it then. Okay, thanks, Joe. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.